Hi everyone, Meteorologist Ron Hearst here. Now that we've gotten into summer and we're going to see more and more of these hot temperatures, I thought I'd do a little video on some heat safety rules. So the first thing you can do is, of course, dress properly for the weather. And the one thing that you can do is, of course, wear a loose color, light cotton clothing like I have on today. Also wear a hat. That's going to keep the sunshine from beating down on your head and warming up all the blood that's up towards your brain. And once that happens, it keeps it from distributing the heat through the rest of your body. So do your favor and wear yourself a hat too. Also, one of the things you can do is, of course, wear sunscreen. Sunscreen not only is going to keep you from getting a really bad burn, but it's also shown some effects in helping keeping you just a bit cooler as well. Now, you'll want to do things like get those chores done early in the day, go for your run or bike ride or walk early in the morning. Evening is okay too, but really morning is probably better because it's been cooler from the rest of the night and you have a little more time before the temperatures really start to warm up and get out of control. Also, make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids. It's really important to stay hydrated at this time of year, so drink plenty of water if you can. Also, sports drinks are probably really good too. They replace the electrolytes and the salt in your body, and if you can, there are some things like salt that you can add to some of your water to again replenish that salt. And what salt does is it helps retain water in your body. You don't want to do it most times because it's going to help raise your blood pressure. It's going to, cause you to get a little bloated, but in the summertime it's going to retain enough water so that you don't get hydrated, so that's a really important thing. And one thing you do is you may get some cramps too because of the heat, and I found that one of the best ways to avoid that is a little bit of pickle juice. It turns out that the vinegar in there is actually really good for cramps as well, so between the salt and the vinegar, that's really going to help make you feel just a bit better. Now, again, some of the other things that you can do are make sure that pets have shade and water. That's very important. Gracie's an inside dog, so she's in the air conditioning. But if you have an outside pet, again, shade and water are really important. Make sure you check the back seat of the car for the kids. You don't want to leave them in a hot car, so put something in the back seat, hang something from the mirror, send yourself a reminder on your phone, something to remind you to check the back seat. You want to check on the elderly because the medication may not react well with heat. And so if they're not careful, sometimes that medication can give them sometimes an adverse effect. Now, you want to also seek air conditioning in the afternoon. Remember, the hot part of the day is going to be somewhere between 11 and maybe 4 o'clock. That's when the hottest temperatures are going to be, so try to get things done before 11 or do them after 4. Seek some air conditioning. If you don't have a lot of air conditioning or you're afraid to run the air conditioning in your house, that's okay, but make sure you take those hours and go someplace that does have air conditioning. We have lots of great places in the Ozarks that you can go. You can go shopping, theaters, malls, bowling alleys, head to the lake to cool off, find some shade in the park. All of those are good places that you can go. Also, check with your county health department and officials and local churches. They may open up some cooling centers and you can go there, and of course those things won't cost you anywhere. Oftentimes they have snacks and water to replace the fluids in your body, so all of those are very good things for you to do at this time of year. Now, again, staying hydrated. Now, let's say you're out too long and of course you start succumbing to the heat. What are the signs that you're going to have? Well, first of all, you're going to sweat and you're going to actually stop sweating. Your skin is going to become kind of cool and clammy. There may be some dizziness or faintness. There may even be some nausea as well, and those are all signs that the heat is starting to take an impact. Also, your muscles are going to start cramping up, and that is a really strong warning sign that your body's becoming dehydrated. So make sure that the first thing you do is stop doing whatever you're doing, go sit down in the shade, and start replacing the fluids in your body. Find something cool, not only to drink, but also you can take kind of a cool rag and get some ice from a cooler. Put that on your face, kind of cool yourself down a little bit. Also on your neck, try to get it over the carotid artery. That'll help cool off some of the blood going up to your brain, because you don't want to get your brain and your body temperature too warm. So those are all good things to do. Now, that's heat cramps. Now you can go to heat stress, and of course all those warning signs will start to intensify a little bit more, especially the vomiting and the nausea, the dizziness. You may pass out. In that case, you want to call 911 and get whoever is suffering from that to medical help as quickly as you possibly can. But while you're waiting for the ambulance to arrive, or before you take them to the hospital, try to get them to a cool place. One thing you can do is, if you have a bathtub, fill it up with water, submerge them in water. Now, water will remove heat from the body around 20 times faster than the air will. So if you submerge them in a cool tub of water, put some ice in it, I know it seems kind of cruel, but that's going to bring that body temperature down, because you don't want it to get too elevated. Now, if your body temperature gets to 106 degrees, that's when you could suffer from heat stroke, and that would be a very bad thing, because we don't want anything to happen to your brain. We don't want you to pass out and fall down. That's when you can really hurt yourself and get into big trouble. So make sure that you pay attention to all those warning signs before you get too hot. Don't push it at the lake. Don't push it outdoors at the family picnic or the family gathering. Now, one last thing before I go, let's talk about fans. Oftentimes people try to run the fan, and for the most part, a fan is a really good thing. A fan works because it blows the air across your skin and evaporates the sweat, and that's what helps cool you down. So when you do that, you have to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water, and make sure that you hydrate all day long. Just don't drink when you start feeling thirsty. Make sure you start drinking from the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to bed at night. And remember, you want at least 8 8-ounce glasses of water a day. Now, if you're outdoors and you're exercising, I went out and rode my bike this morning, I need to take in between 1 and 2 gallons of fluid today. So I need to really heighten how much fluid I take in the summertime, just because I'm going to be sweating that off, trying to cool my body down. So dehydration is a real key. It's very important. Now, as far as fans go, fans can also work to dehydrate you, because if you don't take in enough fluids, what's going to happen is you're going to continue to sweat. The fan's going to remove the water from your body, and you're going to feel okay. But if you don't replace that water, then you're going to become dehydrated, and you can very quickly succumb to some of those effects from the heat. So again, make sure that you stay hydrated, try to find cool places, get things done early in the day, and make sure you dress from the weather. And those are all ways that you can beat the heat this summer. And you know what? It's purely preventable. Now, another thing about heat is the heat is also the biggest killer. Some of the largest fatalities we've had across the country in one weather event have come from major heat waves, because it really affects cities. It affects the older folks first, and the younger folks, because they just can't move the blood through the body fast enough. They oftentimes drink enough fluids, and that's where everybody gets in trouble. So we can survive the summer. It's easy to do. Just pay attention to these rules. So let's all have a great, safe summer and enjoy.